Hello to the nation, DrPlaystation Nation here, talking to you guys over a little bit of SkyBlock, guys. This is episode 4 of SkyBlock on MCWarside.com, guys. Not MC.com, MCWarside.com. This is my server, you guys can come check it out. I didn't mention that in my prison video, my last prison video. I was like, I didn't even mention the IP of this server. But come check out MCWarside.com, come play with me. This is SkyBlock. We have a SkyBlock server, which you guys can go get one of these cool looking blocks over there. You can get one of these cool looking blocks, and you can do some cool stuff. But anyway, what is going to be happening? This is the series where I answer your guys' questions. Right now, you guys can comment down in the comment place box stuff with other words, and you will be able to be talked about on the show. Basically, what I'll do is I will read out your comment. I'm going to read out your username and answer your question in full depth. So hopefully I can get to all of your guys' questions today. Last time we had a couple overflow questions, which I do apologize for. Again, like I said last time, I only answer about 90% of the questions here. Either it'll just be a time restriction thing or something similar. So anyway, with that being said, let's get started. So the first question would be, and I'm not even going to mention the person who said it, what is your texture pack? My texture pack that I am currently using is Traditional Beauty. Traditional Beauty is a really cool texture pack. I really like it, and that's what I use. So continuing on to the, oh, I gotta get some Kerber. Gotta get some Kerber. Here we go, getting this Kerber. There we go. There we go. Okay, cool. So anyway, getting back to what I was going to say is, what is the resource pack? Traditional Beauty, it's a cool texture pack. That's about all I can say on that. Please, Traditional Beauty, for those of you that are fans of the show and you see somebody, or fans of the channel, and you see somebody ask that question, answer it for them, please. It would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, moving on to the next one. This is Vortex1753. Vortex says, you've grown a lot so far in YouTube. Do you have any tips for other YouTubers who want to get bigger, and where do you plan to take your YouTube career further? Or do you plan to, where do you plan to take your YouTube career further, or do you plan to take it further? So, do you plan on continuing doing YouTube? Do you plan on taking it further or not? And also, do you have any tips for other YouTubers that are starting off on how to grow your channel? Well, we've answered this question a couple times in different ways, but this one sort of takes a different spin at it. So first of all, I'm gonna just say right off the bat, I by no stretch have, you know, a large channel in comparison to some of the people who I know in real life, and it's ridiculous how big some people's channels are, and how, like, obviously, you know, 90 or 85,000 I think right now. 85,000 is not something to be, you know, sort of ashamed about or anything like that, but you know, there's a lot of people that have larger channels than me, and I could be doing, you know, a lot of things that'll help out my channel more. So there's certainly, I'm not doing everything perfect, and I don't want to pretend like I am. But any tips that I can suggest, make sure if you want to be, you know, a YouTuber, if you want to grow a channel and grow your audience and be able to communicate with people effectively and whatnot, that you have time to do so. Really, it's so unfortunate to see channels that, you know, they're entertaining, the people that run them are entertaining, but they don't make time to make videos, and what ends up happening is they have, you know, very inconsistent content that is, you know, not coming out on a schedule that would, you know, be conductive to growing an audience. And even worse than that, you end up having a lot of the time just these channels that, like, end up having to stop because the people don't get the growth that they probably deserve. So that's basically all I sort of have to say about that. Make sure you have enough time to be doing what you're doing. In addition to that, make sure you're uploading quality content. On the opposite end of the spectrum, you could be uploading great content, and if you don't upload it like as much as you probably could, then you're not going to be doing very well as if you're uploading very frequently, but you're not uploading good quality content, you're not spending the time that it takes. Like, for instance, this series. I could do this series, and it would be way faster for me if I just said the questions and I never put them on screen. But, you know, it wouldn't be as good. Some people really like seeing the questions, and people like seeing their names on screen and stuff like that. And that takes, oh my god. Oh, and that takes some extra time, so that's something that I definitely need to do, and it makes the series better, and I spend the time to do so. So that's sort of my answer to the question. And where do you plan to take your YouTube career further? Well, I plan to keep, you know, sort of riding this roller coaster that is YouTube, seeing where it takes me, and kind of jumping off to other things as I think it would be good. Like, I want to entertain you guys. When I look at it differently than most YouTubers, when a person subscribes to my channel, I look at it as I've entered into an agreement agreement with that person. I have agreed that, hey, you will continue to watch my content as long as I continue to make content that you like. And that's sort of the agreement that I assume I get into with all of my viewers. And that's something that I really do value. I think it's very important to have sort of a proper relationship with your viewers. And like, I assume that this agreement comes into play, and it's something that I just do. That's how I base my YouTube videos, and everything that I do off of is making sure that I entertain you guys and sort of stay true to that agreement. So as far as that, I don't really know what I'm going to be doing with my YouTube career, and do I plan to take it further? I would love to. I would absolutely love to continue doing what I'm doing. I've had some recent realizations, which I'm going to talk about probably in the future sometime soon. I think they're quite interesting, but anyway, that's sort of that one. Frosty Miner says, do you have oh, sorry, before I get to this question, guys, I'm actually going to, like, grind out some cobble. I'm going to grind out a ton of cobble right now, and come back when I have, like, 3 or 4 stacks. Be right back. And I am back, guys. So I just mined a little bit. I went through a couple pickaxes, actually a few pickaxes, and yeah. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and a little bit of cobble. So hopefully that'll work out for the next little bit. I need my axe, which I put in this chest, and boom, boom, ba-dum, boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, boom. And yeah, so anyway, getting back to the question was, Frosty Miner asked, do you have any pets? And no, right now I don't have pets, sadly. Some of you guys were around, I made a video talking about it. My dog for 10 years recently passed away. He passed away. We had to go put him down a few months back, and it wasn't, you know, the best thing, obviously. It came as a very large surprise, you know, being only 10 years old. 10 years old is old for a dog, but it's not that old. So we were very surprised by the situation and how it happened and everything like that. And yeah, I'm hoping that things actually spawn here. Maybe it's this stuff? Is it this stuff, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, so that was something that happened. It was very unfortunate, but it did happen, and we were sad by it. It was a very sad time, and yeah, so that's my, and I don't currently own any pets. My current place that I live or reside in doesn't allow pets, so that's part of the reason. The other part of the reason being that pets are expensive. I don't have a lot of money. Like, I don't know, like, some YouTubers, like, people talk about how YouTubers make a ton of money. No, don't really make a ton of money. So anyway, moving on to the next question. So this one is by The Phoenix Does Minecraft. It's a very short question. Every episode, can you shout out the recent donators? So this is something that I was considering. This is something that I was thinking about for a long time, and it would be a cool concept. So I'm thinking with new Minecraft EULA and stuff like that, if people just strictly donate, and I'm going out this way to make sort of like a little farm area. If people go and strictly donate, I'm considering doing, you know, shout outs to just talk about them. That being said, you know, I don't exactly know. Maybe I'll go as far as, you know, the little like pop-up boxes I sometimes have in the top right corner or something like that will be, you know, their names and stuff like that. I just don't want it to turn into a thing where the entire episode is me just shouting out people for donating and stuff. So yeah, and then also it would be unfair to the people who don't have the money to donate, that they wouldn't be able to get a shout out in some way, shape, or form. So that is that. The next one is Ted Derpy Cupcakes. He's a guy who asked a question last time. Sorry for this other question to possibly maybe make you sad, but have you ever self-harmed or have any advice for those who do? Personally, I have never self-harmed. You know, obviously, like, I was bullied a lot in high school. I was bullied a lot in elementary school, and it certainly wasn't fun times. It was not fun times for me, and it wasn't something, like, I didn't get nearly as bad sort of bullying as some people, you know. There was times I needed to call the police on sort of my bullies. There was times I needed to go to the hospital from my bullies and stuff like that. Like, there was physical injury, but it wasn't to the point where I was self-harming. It was like, and it sucks that, like, I was thinking about this, you know, I've thought about this before, and it's almost better if it's physical injury to an extent that you're suffering, because I feel like it's the emotional injury that really hurts, that's what lasts with you. Like, you know, I've had, you know, my head slammed into the side of a bus. I've had to go to the hospital to get stitches from bullies. I've, you know, had to call the police because I felt unsafe from the bullies. But it was always, you know, that that stayed with me a little bit, but it was like mainly the idea of don't trust these type of people. You know, it was mainly the idea of, you know, worrying about other people rather than, you know, what often happens when people are just really terrible bullies and they verbally assault you. They assault you, and using words can sometimes be worse because, you know, my head healed. You know, like the police helped me out of that. The police can't help you if somebody, you know, called you a name that you didn't like or convinced you that, you know, you're quote-unquote worthless or, you know, you're something along those lines. Like that can't be helped by police or something. Like, of course, you know, you can try and, you know, press charges against somebody for verbal assault. I understand that, but I mean, like, you can heal. Your body is naturally meant to heal from you know, physical punishment, but mental, that's something completely different. So as far as that goes, I can tell you that it is the most cliche advice ever. But if you are being bullied, one, try and stop it as quickly as possible. And I know from firsthand that it's not as easy as that. I completely understand that. No, it's not as easy as just, you know, oh, go talk to an adult or go talk to your principal or something like that. It's certainly not as easy as that. Why is this not working? They should, oh, is it, it's one block too short. It is one block too short. I'm going to have to fix that in the next episode. But I know it is certainly not as easy as that, and that is the unfortunate reality that is bullying. So it is unfortunate. So it's not as easy as doing that, but if you are going to suffer through bullying, just make sure you know that it does get better. And again, the most cliche advice I can give, it does get better. I was talking just last night to a friend about this and sort of how university, like, this is my roommate that I'm talking about, you know, how university differs from high school so much, and how high school is just a terrible place. It is literally there's no place where you can verbally and physically assault someone and then you would be allowed to enter that place again. Like, if you worked at Walmart or something like that, you work at Walmart, and if you verbally or physically assaulted someone, you are instantly fired. There is no warning. There is no, hey, don't do that next time. You are immediately fired, and you can be pressed charges on. Whereas in high school, you get a slap on the wrist and a detention that, you know, you can skip or something along those lines. Like, by far, high school is just the Wild West of human beings, and you are often surrounded by some of the worst, most immature, uneducated people, which, again, ironically, is understandable that it is school. But, like, it's literally the worst place. And I was talking to a friend about it, and it was just sort of the idea that things seem so much more significant when you're in school. Things seem so much more significant because you have so few choices in life. Like, think about it. As you guys, you know, being students, what choices do you really have to make in life? What freedoms do you have to choose? You can't really choose what school you go to because your parents, you know, chose where you live, so you never get to choose what school you go to. You don't get to decide what classes you really take. Most of the classes that you take are decided for you unless you live in or unless you go to a private school or are in, you know, grade 10, 11, 12, which I'm assuming a lot of you guys aren't. And you don't really have a lot of choices with anything, really. And that's the unfortunate part. So when you actually do get to make choices about things like the people you hang out with or what other people think about you, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 oh, this is not good. When you get to finally make choices about what people think about you and all that sort of stuff, it seems much more significant than what it actually is. And that's the worst part. So that's sort of like what we were talking about, and how choices can just seem way more significant when really they don't matter. And when people say, you know, oh, people are making fun of you and it is the end of the world, I've been there. I know what it's like when everyone is stacked up against you. You know, I talked about this before. When I did Call of Duty videos, I had a series called High School Stories, and I talked about it, and I got messages back from you guys telling me about all these experiences that you've had. And I know now with, you know, 80,000 more subscribers, I'm sure there's some people who have been through some very terrible circumstances, and I can't exactly sympathize with that, but what I can say is I've been in some situations where it's been absolutely terrible, and I know what it's like, and I've turned out fine. It gets better, and if you're a person that is in the situation where you feel like self-harm is something that helps you through this, please, like, there's so many people that you can reach out to. You know, you can reach out to your family, you can reach out to, you know, if you have a close group of friends, you can reach out to them, where I would suggest reaching out first. If you're a person who has, you know, suffered from things like self-harm and, suffered by doing things like self-harm and, you know, contemplating ending your life, there is numbers that you can easily Google. Like, Google is such a great thing for just, you want help, you can just simply look up a number that you can call, and there will be a person there it is their job to talk to you and give you the best advice, and they can give you way better advice than I can. But that's where I would say, and most of them are completely anonymous. They don't know anything about you, like, other than your phone number. They won't ask for, you know, your parents' name or any information, your address, anything about you. They'll simply just, you know, talk to you about certain things and help you with your issues. So that's what I would suggest. That's any suggestions that I have. It does get better if you're going through some bullying issues. It certainly does get better. And right now I am doing, all of my bullies, what are they doing? They're going to really bad schools, or they're not going to school at all, and they're working at Target or McDonald's or something like that, and they're probably not really going to go anywhere. So that's the satisfaction that you get. You know, you might be in a really bad situation now, but after high school ends, none of this will matter. So that's pretty much what I have to say. And now I'm going to try and finish a couple more questions. Maybe this will be a little bit long. Oh my god. That is a lot of questions. I only got through a little bit. Whew, crud. I'm going to try and rapid fire some of these questions. I'm going to go to, I think, I'm going to try and go to 25 minutes, and I'm going to try and rapid fire a ton of these questions. So here we go. Have you ever thought to start a big career? Start a big career, by that, I think you mean, you know, just what people would consider a normal job, and no, I've never really considered starting that right now. The only job I have considered, again, like I've said before, is teaching, and that's going to be something that I need to do another 6 years of school to do, and I definitely still want to do that. If that's what I end up doing at the end of the day, I'm perfectly fine with that. And that was by Suppa Joka. The next one is Mr. Slayer. Will you ever do a vanilla SSP survival let's play? I would do a SMP. I definitely would consider doing an SMP, and I definitely want to do more multiplayer stuff, just for the reason that I love hanging out with you guys on the server. I know some of you guys say, you know, oh, you never talk to us on the server, and that's just for the reason I do talk to you guys when I can, and it's for the reason that, again, in my perspective, it's the same way, you know, in my perspective, I seem like I'm talking to a lot of you guys, whereas, you know, to you guys that get the opportunity to talk to me, you don't really ever comment on my videos saying, yeah, cool, I got to talk to him. It's usually the people who don't get the opportunity to talk to me on the server who end up commenting. So I do try and talk to a lot of you guys, but we have like over 10,000 people join the server every month, like new people. Like our player count is only 300, but there's always new people on there, and I don't get the opportunity to talk to every one of you like I would like. So I like to, you know, do as many series on a multiplayer server as I can, and add as many cool things to Warside as I can. So moving on to the next one, will you ever post console content again? I was considering doing some Minecraft console stuff. I was thinking it might be cool. I do have the recorder back from when I did console stuff before. I don't think I'm going to be doing it anytime in the near future, at least. Can you post, that was Bob, and the next one is Vortex1753. Again, can you post all your specs? I mean, all of them. As far as, I'm going to say everything that I possibly can remember. So 780 Gigabyte 780 Ti gigahertz edition with a i5 2500K on an ASRock Extreme 3 Gen 3 motherboard with a 3 terabyte hard drive, 3 terabyte hard drive, 2 500 gigabyte hard drives, a 250 gigabyte hard drive, and then finally a 256 gigabyte SSD, which is no, not Asus, it's a something drive. I think that's the brand, and it's an SP something. It's an SP series drive, so you'll be able to find it from that, as well as I have a K90 keyboard with a Death Adder, as well as two 1080p monitors, and my case is a Gelid case. Gelid only makes one case. I forget what the model is, but that is what I have with a window. I also have an H80 water cooling all-in-one loop, and TX750 power supply. So that's what I have. That's my setup as it stands of right now. So there you go. Moving on to the next one, we have Frosty Miner, how long have you been friends with Dylan? Honestly, I don't know how long I've been friends with Dylan. I really don't know. You know, it hasn't been crazy long. Like, I've known a lot of people on YouTube longer than him. That being said, it has been a decently long time as of right now. I think the first time we recorded something must have been maybe 6 months ago or so. It had to have been before East. I know it was before East, but as far as what I know past that, I don't know if it was before New Year, so I can't really answer that. Okay, this is a good one. This is by Ted Derpy Cupcakes again. I wouldn't have done the second question, but this is actually good because it's 3 rapid-fire questions. 1, what is your favorite animal? 2, do you plan on getting married? And 3, what is causing the long period of time between videos? 1, what is my favorite animal? My favorite animal probably right now is a hedgehog. I don't know why, but like as a domestic animal, I really like the idea of getting a hedgehog. They're pretty cheap. They're like less than $100, and they're pretty cool, and they're really cheap to own. I might get a hedgehog, is what I'm saying. Next, but other than that, it would be a dog. If it was like really what animal do I really want to get, it would be a dog, because I say hedgehog because I can only get a dog here. Anyway, next question. Do you ever plan on getting married? Yes, definitely. Sometime probably around when I'm 30, maybe a little bit younger, maybe a little bit older. But yeah, third one. What is causing so many long periods between your videos? Basically, just a lot of server stuff. This month has been crazy. I personally do all the support on Warside, so if you ever email mcwarside@hotmail.com, it's me replying to you. Please do not reply to that email. Please do not email that address if you don't actually need help. But, you know, it's been crazy. The server's been being, in July, with everybody, you know, off and stuff like that, it's been getting a lot of emails asking for help. Not because, you know, we're doing anything wrong, but there's, you know, just some issues that occur when packages are distributed and all that stuff. So that's been a huge reason, as well as I've been trying to launch extra stuff on the server, which has been taking a huge portion of my time. And finally, I think that's about it. Also, you know, I've been going through there's been some family stuff that's been happening recently, which I can't really, I'm not at liberty to discuss, but that's that. And next question. So Jack Kelly says, surprise, no one's asked basic questions, so I will. Favorite number, color, food, and music. Not too many people watch Dylan's SkyBlock because there's questions of they're questions of your videos, not his. Ooh, that is actually interesting, because I do pull them from mine because Dylan doesn't get a lot on his, which doesn't help his. So I guess that's kind of true. So basic questions: favorite number, 5, favorite color, either red or blue, favorite food is my mom's homemade macaroni and cheese. And favorite music, I don't really have one. I like a lot of music, Right now, if I were to say my favorite album, would be Tokyo Police Club Force Field. That's my favorite album right now. It's Tokyo Police Club's it's their brand new album. And then my second favorite album would be, or right now at least, would be their previous album they made a few years ago called Champ. If you guys want to go hear some decent like music, go check that out. As far as stuff that I listen to like on a, you know, more like consistent basis, would probably be, you know, I listen to pretty much top Billboard, like, you know, music and stuff like that. So I listen to that sort of stuff often enough, whether it's, you know, Jay-Z, Rihanna, Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, all that sort of stuff. I do listen to a decent amount of rap, that sort of stuff, so I don't really have a favorite type of music. Let's go on to the next one. Thank you, Jack Kelly. What do you use to record? Rocketman2468 says, what do you use to record? To record, I use DxStory. I use DxStory to record my stuff, and it works out pretty well, except when it doesn't. Oh, no! No, I was supposed to make an axe with that. So yeah, how did you meet Hyperdarkness? Somebody asked. I don't know. I don't really remember. I met him through a friend of a friend, I think. Becky AJ Warrior says, that happened to me with, oh, no, never mind. Yeah, I'm still looking, I'm looking. Zombie Pigman 1824 says, when you were younger, what was your dream to do YouTube? If it was not, and do you still think you want to do that? No, I didn't really have a dream when I was younger. Pretty much as I was doing YouTube, it became a job sort of thing. Like, it became a part-time job for me. I started making revenue off of it, and I never needed to go get a real job until later on when I did need to go get a real job, and I'm not really going to discuss that too much. It was a very terrible experience in my life, and yeah, so that's sort of what happened, and then now YouTube's become a job, so yeah, that's all I can say about that, and let's keep on going. Halo 8527, if you had a chance to narrate a movie, what movie would you do? Action movie. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of action movies. I do enjoy them quite a lot. Anything with, like, I think I just like Channing Tatum in general. Like, I know it's kind of a girl thing to like, but it's just like, I just kind of like him in general. Like, not necessarily because he's, like, you know, a hunk of a person. Hunky dude. Hunky dude. But mainly for the reason that he's just generally, like, he seems like a cool person, which I would like to hang out with in person. I just think that about him, I guess. Male crush, I know. So I'd want to do some action movie that he does. And then the next one, Matthew Espinoza says, can you tell us a high school story? And surprisingly, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, how I did a Call of Duty high school stories one. I'm probably going to be doing a high school stories in Minecraft. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing it over. So we'll have to figure that out. But I definitely want to do something like that. So that might be something that we're doing. I'm not going to ruin it. Actually, I did. I just kind of said, yes, I want to do it. So I kind of did. So that was by Matthew Espinoza. What is your favorite Minecraft series? What happened to your factions? Well, factions is back up. Have you noticed? I think that's about it. All these other ones are very long. Do you love me? Yeah, I guess. What do you record? Used to record? Did you play any sports? No. Okay, I think that's about it. I'm going to sign off, guys, so hopefully you did enjoy this episode of SkyBlock. It was a little bit longer than the average episode, but I will try and do another one for you guys. Make sure you comment your questions down below, and I will answer them next time. I know I didn't get to a decent amount of today's comments. Some of them aren't really questions that I think I could answer, but definitely comment them, because I would love to read them and sort of get a... Oh, this is working. This is working. Hey, Mr. Skeleton. Hey, Mr. Skeletons. Bye, guys.